Good afternoon and welcome to the final game of Div1 Nationals 2024. Tale as old as time. It's an Ellipsis showdown. Asterisk versus Ampersand. I'm Oakley Mullen. I'm joined here by Avril Tam in the commentary booth, and we're going to be bringing you
Ellipsis versus Ellipsis.
Tell us what it's been like, Avril, so far.
Yeah, so it's been Asterisks have had some pretty good wins overall, but unfortunately with their most recent showdown earlier this month, Ampersand did get over them 15-13. Asterisks led by Kat Phillips, Georgia Egan-Griffiths, Eva Weatherall. And then with Ampersand led by Lucy Della, Panya Preston and Caro Ma, Spirit Captains Olivia Kine, Simmer, Dolly Wall. They'll be looking to take some confidence into this game given their recent wins. With Ampersand, the ones going undefeated at regionals. Canberra Cup, they had 2 losses, once against Manly Mavericks and one against Spicy Chili, 12-11 in a universe point. Asterisks, in terms of their tournament statistics, they had 1 universe loss against Spicy Chili and a win over Ampersand at regionals. So just the 1 loss overall. Canberra Cup, they managed to get redemption against Spicy Chili with an 11-5 win, but then also lost against Manly Mavericks 15-6. So a little bit topsy-turvy. Ellipsis may be looking a little bit less undefeatable over this season, but we'll see who takes it out in the end.
That's exactly right, Avril, and I think we heard a lot of chatter throughout the weekend that there was a lot of thought that this could be the year that Ellipsis took a tumble. I think Manly were the hot favourites on that one, but as we saw yesterday on the stream, they went down to Asterisk. Can't exactly remember the scoreline actually, but they went down to Asterisk in the semi-final, and Ampersand got up against Rogue, which is how we've come down with this showdown today. So Lippy v Lippy again. It's going to be a cracker of a game though, and it always is, as we've seen in previous years. We'll try and bring you some stats throughout the game as well. Lucy Della coming up with the pull. Bit of a short pull this time. Wind has changed throughout the weekend. It's now going slightly left to right of screen. So Lucy Della was having an upwind pull there, so it didn't even quite make half. I think it went straight out of field though and was a brick. So Georgia Egan-Griffiths has elected to take the brick, lose the 15-ish meters of ground to take centre field position. Yeah,
sometimes it's a little bit easier to create a few more things opening up the lane rather than get sucked in and forced to one sideline.
So Phillips with the dish. She's looking for Griffiths. It's great D-mark there from Della. She goes the around to Prentice. Marked by Jodie Palmer. Egan-Griffiths providing the under. She finds her dishing off to Kat Phillips. Centres back to Griffiths. Egan-Griffiths. Prentice on that top sideline. She is providing the undercut. She is versus Fong. Look at that height difference. Prentice getting involved again. Gives the Phillips the nod. She comes back for the around back. She fumbles. She can't keep it. Ampersand with an early upwind break opportunity.
Absolutely. Fantastic defense by Sally Yu to keep Kat Phillips honest. Just with that wind bobbling up, it's not very predictable at the moment. So even those small passes, a little bit risky at times with that intense pressure.
That's exactly right. It has been very unpredictable, this wind, and we saw it in the men's final just how much it can play. Lucy Della bring it in. She's trying to shift the mark of Egan-Griffiths, but she can't quite do it. It's a really floaty flick up, and it is eaten up by the Asterisk defense there.
Yeah, Jess Parks getting up.
It was Roberts, sorry, Alicia Roberts. Prentice up to Egan-Griffiths. She fakes the big. Centres back to Prentice instead. Has Roberts coming up on the under. Dignam peels off to try and cover that. Sally Yu bites hard.
Oh,
Sally
another
Yu bites
big
hard
pitch.
again. Kat Phillips. She's looking for an open side option. There is nothing coming. There's Weatherall.
There's a pick called in the stack.
First of potentially many, Avril.
Or foul. Foul called, actually. You
Foul
can see
called.
the hand signals. So Simmer Dhaliwal calling the foul on Egan-Griffiths, maybe a bit of a push-off.
And sometimes it's hard not to do that when you're just getting really into your cut, Avril. The arms come up as you're doing a little bit of a chop stop, and then you just push the elbow out slightly.
Yeah, a bit of a reflex move.
A lot of discussion, and maybe we can see it on the replay here. Don't get it. Discussion about whether the contact affected Dhaliwal's ability to make a bid or be involved in that play. Getting some game advisor perspective. There is a retracted call. It is a goal. Asterisk drawing first blood. Yeah, so Kat Phillips to Eva Weatherall there for the first chalk on the board. Ellipsis, Asterisk. They held though because Ampersand came out on D.
Although not without an opportunity for Ampersand.
That's exactly right, and we did discuss earlier, and we saw in the warm-ups for the teams, as they were throwing into the wind, just how much it played on those throws and how much the wind scooped it up. Hoping that in the warm-up they'd be able to see the effect it was going to have and potentially adjust. But, you know, when you're in a game circumstance, you lose your thoughts sometimes, Avril, especially when it's getting to a really intense moment, like an upwind break opportunity.
Absolutely. And with the teams knowing each other so well, they're definitely going to be able to get a few bids on. You've already seen a couple of layouts. They know what their opposition are looking for in terms of those throws, so ready to anticipate.
Lyra Meehan with a beautiful upwind pull. Chong to Ma. She's got on this far side. Oh, Yuffie Grimoire with a little tip on that. Meehan picks it up quickly to move it. Here we have Brass on this close sideline. Batuan, she's looking to center it back, but there's great dump D from Hollowbone there. Meehan loses a little bit of ground on that one. She puts the flick up. Patterson surveying the field. Great D there from the Ampersand lays. Hollowbone hot on the heels of Meehan. She gets it though. She's looking for an option. Wants the around backhand, can't get it. She makes Egan Griffiths work hard and she can't even get there.
That wind just pushing the disc flat into the ground.
Ma jacks it up. She's got underneath it. And she gets it. Ampersand.
Ampersand.
One throw offense.
Well done to Ampersand. After a bit of a long point for the first one, Ampersand get it done pretty quickly. Very pleased with that. Voices getting up and about.
So that was Caro Ma to Alicia there. One throw offense. I think that's going to be something we've got to look out for this whole game is Caro Ma, especially in that downwind, is going to be looking to put it deep and put it deep quickly.
Yeah, for sure. And as we said earlier, Caro Ma, one of the captains on this Ampersand team, she'll be looking to lead the charge. I'd say probably one of the more reliable handlers on the roster.
Absolutely. And in these moments, these absolute clutch, intense moments, such as the grand final of Nationals, you look to your senior leadership to provide that calm, that confidence, help direct the team through those points and those really intense moments, because it's when you get those turns that you can tend to just try and force an option that isn't necessarily there.
Absolutely. Conservation of greatness will be really important. Both teams need to hold their nerve and hold their composure. It's probably going to be a little bit messy here with some turns both ways, so who can make the most of their opportunities?
So slightly past half in the center of the field, Egan Griffiths with a disc engages Kat Phillips pretty quickly. She has a very loose mark there from Sally Yu. I think she wants to prevent the big. Egan Griffiths, center of the field again, overthrows Hannah Shears, but there's Prentice getting the scraps. She goes back to Valancourt on the far sideline, marked by Fung. Kat Phillips is on the inside. Miscommunication there. Valancourt goes to throw the around backhand as Kat Phillips came to the flick side. Ampersand with another upwind break opportunity, Avril.
You called it here, Oakley. Lucy Della now picking up the disc on the sideline. Horror set from Ampersand, just swings it across.
Clarice Tam with the disc.
Sally Yu calling for it, not in great position. Ooh, Fung gets up, Della. Again, still trapped on that sideline. They're just working up that small channel. Sally Yu with the disc now. A big mark by Eva Weatherall. She's looking inside. There's about 3 players, but they managed to make it work through Fung and then swing across to Dhaliwal to try and make the most of this break side. As they settle in, a lovely little inside shot to Yu, to Palmer. Continuation on the break side. Looks good, and Fung manages to grab the score. Ampersand, that's the first break of the game. Talk about taking opportunities, Oakley.
Upwind break from Ampersand. They made that look so easy. And I'm really, really impressed at the patience that was exhibited through that point. This was an absolutely massive D from Kat Phillips here. Sima Dhaliwal almost crouching to the ground to try and get around her, but instead found Sally Yu, who hit Jodie Palmer on the break side. Amanda Fung had enough separation there, I think, through Valancourt, which meant that that nice backhand up the line from Jodie Palmer sat out into space for her to run onto.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, that upwind, Jodie Palmer really making a measured backhand pass to make sure that didn't float up too high. Really interesting, towards the beginning of that point, you saw that Ampersand were pinned to that far sideline. They had to squeeze it through a narrow channel a fair few times. Lucy Della was over that side. But once they got the swing and the break around, the continuation, really, really difficult for Asterisk to stop.
And that's one of the most important things, that not only if you can get the dump off or center to the disc, you need that continuation to come so you can continue the downfield movement.
As we see a big pull up from Lucy Della. And Asterisk get underway. There's a junk look here by Ampersand trying to slow down the quick offense. As previously we saw some very efficient points. Egan Griffiths, just a little dump across to Prentice. And that junk look is doing well to slow things down as Asterisk gets some reinforcements coming back to help out the backfield handlers. Ooh, and Prentice just manages to keep a hold of that. Just really tiny dishy passes, plenty of, oh, and there goes a big one. Who's under that? Oh, and that just goes over the heads of about 4 players. Della picks it up quickly. She wants to get things going. Dhaliwal, ooh, might be a foul called there. Looks like the disc was thrown a little bit behind her, so she had to change direction. Maybe a little bit of interference from Eva Weatherall. Looks like the disc is staying with Dhaliwal. And they bring it in. A lovely inside shot to Fung. Oh, and Della. Oh, Fung just
miscommunication.
Overthrows. Yeah, that's stung them a couple of times already this game. Kat Phillips, both Ellipsis teams looking to get things underway quickly on the turns. Prentice, hammer time! Oh, and overthrown.
I think that stall count was probably starting to rise slightly there, Avril. And in those moments, you kind of stop looking at your dump and stop looking at your downfield options and just think, how can I get this disc in the air and to an opportunity that might try and bring it down?
Yep.
Because you end up with a Hail Mary and you just need to go for what is your best option.
Yep. And Della goes to Dhaliwal again. We've called those names in that sequence a couple of times already. Centers back to Della, who goes up to Sally Yu. Shakes her head, doesn't like the long option. Oh, and that dump around, that makes Della work. And Anderson gets some mitts in. Meehan now with the disc, looking for Egan Griffiths in the dump space. 1-2, back to Meehan. Pretty frenzied, I would say, at this point in time. Both teams bringing the intensity. We've now got Kat Phillips knocking on the door. She goes around across to Prentice. And a lovely inside shot to Anderson. And that's a score and a hold for Asterisk. So they'd be pleased with that one to settle things down after the Ampersand break.
That's right. So we see here that lovely up the line to Kat Phillips, and then the around there hitting Prentice. Ruby Anderson was free in the center of the field. Mandy Fung there bit on the open, tried to follow another receiver, because obviously that open side at that close to the end zone is so dangerous. Mandy Fong bit on it. We opened up the inside flick to Anderson there for the score. So Asterisk break back. So it's we're back to 2 apiece. Essentially on serve again. As we just clock over 13 minutes into this game. Sorry, that was a hold. Apologies, that was a hold there from Asterisk. But they got the upwind hold as opposed to it being downwind now. So Chong, a little bit of a low centre to Ma, but she holds on to it. Parks back to Ma. Trying to move it quickly. It's a junky look from Asterisk now. They're returning the favour. Moving it nicely amongst themselves, keeping it moving quickly. Parks to Ma. She's surveying over options. Parks again, trying to just gain a little bit of ground on that one. Finds Ma on this close sideline. Needs to be careful to not get trapped here. Throws the hammer over. She has Kat Buxer, who gets on her feet, but Meehan tips it. Lyra Meehan getting the D stat there. Kat Phillips picks it up. She's looking big. She finds Meehan on the under. Dishy off to Yuffie Greenwell quickly. Back to Meehan. Puts the around backhand up. She has Forbes under it in an acre of space. Lyra Meehan gets the D. She gets the assist to Laura Forbes.
Double happiness. And Asterisk will be very pleased to get the break back fairly quickly after a pretty frantic point with the hold.
Both teams working very hard here on the defense. You can see there just the intensity of that Asterisk zone, forcing Caroline Ma to go over top. Didn't quite have enough weight on it, and in doing so allowed Lyra Meehan to get underneath it.
Yeah, junk looks on defense working well for both Ellipsis sides at the moment.
Interesting thing, Avril, is that they train together. So both teams employing the same structures. That was a bricked pull. It was an inside-out backhand that barely swept inside the field before hitting out. I think it's going to be collected as a brick, but they've just left it there.
I think they're talking about bringing it back. I think it went out and then rolled all the way back in.
That's what I was thinking. It went out and then rolled back in, and everyone just looked at it like it was like they didn't know what was happening. So there's Caro Ma. She's got Lee going deep, and she puts it beautifully weighted, hits the target as perfectly intended. Oh, she underthrows Chong though.
Just a little bit of shape.
Yuffie Grimwag says, anything you can do, I can do better, and Caro Ma tips it.
Way to get it straight back for a team. Now she's using her hands to tell everyone to just settle things down. Urging the Horo stack just to come a little bit closer to open things up.
Oh, Caro Ma. Floaty high release backhand, and Chong gets high, but not high enough. So there's Patterson on the far sideline at halfway. Oh. Prentice taking a lot of contact on that one. She wants to throw the around to Patterson, but she can't. She looks up line. Patterson with great hands to keep that one. Throws the up the line to Grimoire, but there is just enough pressure there from Alicia Ung that she cannot secure it. She has a stream deep by bucks of it. She holsters it. Instead, centers to Parks. Hits Della. She has Dorothy Lee, but she looks her off. It's a very deep stack. There's Chong. No deep options, no under options. Caro Ma keeps it in. She looks the big, but she throws the flick instead. She's got Alicia Ung underneath it again, but it's an overthrow.
Getting pretty frantic here. Lots of turns on every point. Not a lot of clean offense. You could see the stack was quite stagnant there until Caro Ma made that lovely undercut, although was forced very close to the sideline, and Caro just wanted it out of there, so went for the big huck. There was an opportunity for to give it a go, but ultimately the wind just beats her. And Grimoire, lovely. Oh,
Della!
D by Della. And a short field goes to for the score.
Ampersand making quick work of that one.
Della, a really lovely read. Grimoire just being a little bit too cute on that inside backhand. Della reading that well, getting her body in the way. As we see earlier in the point, fantastic D by Caro Ma. Just enough to push the disc out of reach.
And we've discussed this before, Avril, in previous streams. On defense, you just need to be in the way to put enough doubt in the offensive mind, or you don't necessarily have to catch these, although it's the best thing you can do. You just need to change the flight path of the disc enough so that the offense can no longer get a bit at it. So we see there that great D again from Della. She just picks it up quickly and gives it to So 3 apiece. Quick points as we're only 19 minutes into this 100-minute game. Dalla. Big pull, Egan Griffiths, Phillips. Calling her field back under. She pops it up, she's got shears. Yu's there, Sally Yu. Getting a hand to it.
She almost tried to catch like a footy mark, like
She
a chest
did.
mark. Used 2 hands to push it behind her. So the big shot's not really coming off for either team at the moment. Plenty of turnovers, but forcing the other team to work from their defensive end zone. We've got Dhaliwal now with the disc on the close sideline. Jumps across to Della, back to Dhaliwal for a 1-2. Fung was open, but she didn't like the look of that because she likes the long shot here. Although Weatherall getting in the way for a block, there might be a foul called here. Sally Yu on Weatherall.
It looked like Yu definitely had her hands on the disc first.
As we see a closer shot from camera 2. Thanks, Mikey, for your work.
Oh, actually, Eva Weatherall didn't touch the disc. It bounced in and out of the hands of Sally Yu and then contact occurred. My opinion on this one, Avril, is that the contact didn't affect Sally's ability to catch the disc.
But I believe the rules are that if doesn't necessarily matter before. We'll have to get some advice from the game advisors, but my understanding is that even if the contact is after and affected the play, which I guess Sally has a right to give a perspective with that.
I guess the question also is that if Sally was anticipating the contact to occur and that made her change her bit at the disc?
Well, it did look like she copped a bit of a knock after the fact. As you see here, there's a bit of a shoulder bump, Weatherall, and she goes down. Whether or not, I don't know if Sally wanted to argue that she may have had a second bid if not for the contact on the shoulder.
I think a turn has occurred, and I personally believe that that's the right outcome there.
Yeah, it looks like pretty clean, just the body afterwards, which might have prompted Sally to call that.
Oh, Dhaliwal!
Another turn for Ampersand. Half the field to work with. Dhaliwal getting involved in this game. O'Connor, Blady shot, and that one works.
Michaela Dignam with the score there.
Dhaliwal getting really involved now, getting a lot of passes, generating a lot of big plays from that backfield. And Dignam gets a stat on the stat sheet.
I'd also just like to give a big shout out to Michaela Dignam. Gave birth to her baby in the early weeks of January, and here she is out here on the final of Div1.
That's incredible. 3 months postpartum. Good on her.
The tail end of 4 months postpartum, so Baby mama, you can hear the chant there on the sideline getting around you. That's an amazing feat to be back out here on the field. Around 4 months postpartum. What an amazing feat. Showing us all what mums can do.
Absolutely. I think there's a few mums with bubs these days going around. Kat Phillips with a young one at home. Mish Phillips also with a young one that we're seeing on the sideline.
This tournament has been, littered with children and baby paraphernalia all around the sideline. Prams, dummies, blankets. And I'm here for it, Avril. It hasn't been something that we've seen a lot of in, the past years of Ultimate, but I'm absolutely here for it now. Bring the kids along. It's a family affair and get them involved. Yeah. Start them young.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure all of that early exposure is going to really hold them in good stead. I mean, we've also got Ultimate Australia bringing in their sporting school, smashing it for Ultimate program. They've got the Ultimates in the primary school and Fly in the secondary schools, reaching nearly 150,000 kids since it was introduced in 2022. So Ultimate Australia really getting around the young'uns, really trying to grow the sport at the grassroots level.
And that's exactly what we like to see, grow the sport at the grassroots level, get more kids involved. The earlier we start them, the stronger our youth becomes.
Absolutely, Oakley. And so the timeout was called. Ampersand doing a bit of an interesting circular flying, I would call it. Maybe akin to the Ultimates Fly program. Just before they get on the line.
And with Ampersand being up on the scoreboard, so we see here the stats. Asterisk 1 break, Ampersand 2. Few turns each, however, which we can see that the intensity is high. So we see Phillips to Prentice. Egan Griffiths just here as well. The trio of them playing the bulk majority of the offensive points for Asterisk. Meehan getting involved now. Very tight. There's Egan Griffiths again. Finds Phillips taking a lot of contact from Dhaliwal.
You can see Ampersand really trying to trap Asterisk on this sideline. It's a very crowded disc.
That's exactly right. A lot of defense committed so close.
Can hear a loud trap call, but Phillips manages to get it through to Egan Griffiths.
Egan Griffiths to Phillips, Apprentice. She's trying to look through to Phillips, but she can't get there. Dhaliwal now avoiding the contact, but letting Phillips get it. Overlooks Meehan. Concedes some ground to Prentice as that, but goes back to Phillips. She tries to get the inside to Egan Griffiths, but can't. There she is there. Phillips and her give going a bit. O'Connor cutting off that option though. Looking like she might need to try and concede some ground, but can't quite get it to Prentice. Throws the inside out backhand looking for Anderson, but it just went cross field out the sideline.
That's credits to that cup doing the hard yards for Ampersand, forcing even their top players to throw it away on high stall counts.
Dalla putting it up. She only had Ewan Fung underneath it, but there were 3 Asterisk defenders there. Phillips picking it up. There was a little bit of a conversation before she did so. Immediately to Prentice, to Egan Griffiths. Prentice through to Meehan. There was a travel called. Egan Griffiths looking like she was going to do a give go and then had to holster it slightly and then ended up traveling in the process. Ampersand calling the trap on this sideline. There was a miscommunication there, but a violation is being called. It was not a throwaway. Give goes between Prentice and Egan Griffiths. Oh, there's lots of defenders committed around this space. It's looking a little bit double-teamy. Prentice going over top of Fung, calling the foul. Fung was face marking, had absolutely no vision of that.
Yeah, I dare say Fung already was in the space, but she's calling an accepted foul. You can see how intense this cup is, trapping Asterisk to this close sideline. Really tiny throws to try and get the disc moving and resetting.
Violation called again. The intensity increasing on this defense. Fung shutting down that option to Egan Griffiths, opens up me, and Egan Griffiths on this close sideline. There has been another call. Have no idea what it was, Avril.
Your guess is as good as mine.
But the disc is with Egan Griffiths. Clarice Tan on the mark. Tight Ampersand defense. Egan Griffiths trying to thread the inside, but she can't quite get there. She concedes some ground to Phillips. There is a stall out from Tan. Egan Griffiths looking like she's not having any of it.
Few calls on this point already. The stoppages are counting up, but I haven't been keeping stats on that one, unfortunately.
They might be teammates, but they're not being friendly right now, Avril.
No, definitely both wanting that gold medal, both hungry for it.
Oh, Fung!
Manages to get a hand and pushes that out the sideline. Credits to her hard work. Part of this cup, just dialing the pressure up, forcing those mistakes.
The call has continuously been to trap this sideline. The trap paid off. Dalla to O'Connor. She's got Palmer on the swing. There's no continuation, but she threads a nice backhand to Dhaliwal. She's got Fung in space, but Phillips is guarding it. Dhaliwal goes back to you. She has Dalla as the dump. It's a very tightly marked dump by Eva Weatherall, but she gets it. She goes open side to O'Connor. Has Fung available. O'Connor with no mark. She can do what she wants. Goes down the line to Dalla, apologies. Looking for an cut. There's Tan there. Prentice on her heels. Wants to put the around, but there has been a pick in the stack.
After some fairly free-flowing offense, another stoppage.
It was really good passage of play there from Ampersand. Much cleaner than what we just saw from Asterisk. So Ruby Anderson has caught up to Sally Yu there. Just trying to get some clarification on what the stall count is on. I believe it's 2 or 3. So Tan trying to get the dump off. She loses a bit of ground to Dalla. Massive mark from Weatherall. Finds Fung on the doorstep. Palmer with the goal. Mandy Fung to Jodie Palmer. Mandy Fung getting the D and then getting the assist on that one. She worked so hard on offense and defense there, and it absolutely paid off. Ampersand up a break, Avril.
Absolutely. Fung, really the star of that point. Didn't get too distracted with all of those stoppages. Managed to maintain her intensity in that cup and also on that backwards dump. You saw that kind of no-look D. I know there was a foul called, but just in really good position. And as we have a timeout called, I believe by Ampersand, now that they're up
5-3.
Yeah, they're up 2 breaks now, and that's 2 breaks straight.
That is 2 breaks straight, and that really puts you in a really good mental place as you go into the, reaching the middle points of this game. Being up 2 breaks, creating that buffer, you tend to relax ever so slightly on your offense and your defense. And the thing is when you're actually playing a little bit more relaxed, you don't make as many, or take as many options or make as many decisions that might not actually be there if you're trying to force the goal, because you know that we have to get it back. We have to get it back.
Yeah, definitely. I think that zone, and it looks like a puppy cup, was working really well. Trapped on their sideline, and with, as we've talked about earlier, the wind gusting up and down, Asterisks weren't really looking for that swing or unable to get the swing off because Ampersand were covering that so well. So you can see getting a little bit frustrated. The chats are pretty heated as well. So Asterisks looking to bring a little bit more heat to see if they can get at least one of those breakbacks. Here.
So here we have Asterisk coming out on O. Getting some requests on the chat to bring back the pit count, and honestly we might have to. I'll heed that call and I'll start trying to take a tally for you online. Just some more of the stats that we're trying to bring you this game. Megan with the disc at halfway. Oh, she unleashes the backhand. She's got shears underneath it. Sally Yu can say nothing about it when you've got the height of Hannah Shears underneath a put like that.
And that's exactly what Asterisk needed, a clean and efficient hold.
That's exactly right. That probably would have been a lot of the communication coming from the likes of Phillips, Egan Griffiths in that point. As we see here, Lyra Meehan, she fakes the flick and then unleashes. It was weighted perfectly to just sail over the head of Sally Yu, and it curled back into Hannah Shears. Absolutely beautiful put.
And great work by Shears to get into position there. Fading a little bit away from her, but gets up high, one-handed grab. Shears flying high and flying all the way from Tasmania to join the team for this tournament.
That's exactly right. From across the straight herself. And don't know if anyone saw some of the stream games from yesterday. We're getting around the Hannahs.
That's right.
And we'll get around Hannah again because that was a great goal.
If you're a Hannah, get on the chat. We want to hear from you on YouTube. Ulti TV partnering with Ultimate Australia, making sure that we get plenty of these awesome stream games from Australian Ultimate Championships. And that's a fantastic pull. It rolls through Chong's legs. They're starting from their defensive end zone. Parks, just a little dump across to Chong. The defensive intensity has ramped up from Asterisk. High shot works out. Jess Park's able to run it down. Just a short one to Karma. Looks big, fakes big, and goes big with the flick. And managing to sweep up the disc from the grass. She's waiting for the dump. Nice secure one to Parks, a little one. And that's a score, Dorothy Lee. Jess Parks to Dorothy Lee. Wow.
Avril, I thought the grass had that one. I thought that was turfed. Did such a good job. And I think I'd want to see it on the replay almost. I think she just got her left hand underneath it enough and snatched it just before it hit the ground and then held her composure beautifully.
That was very impressive, especially with that pull rolling all the way to the defensive end zone. Ampersand really had to work things up. And that was another clean hold.
Her body was almost moving away from the disc. I think she expected it to continue sailing a bit more, and she just got a hand just underneath it, falling to the ground at the same time.
Some sticky gloves maybe also helping a little bit.
I think everyone's got a pair of those gardening gloves on, Avril.
That's right, the cyclone ones from Bunnings. All right, so Ampersand maintaining their lead, maintaining their two breaks. Let's see what Asterisk can do. They'll be looking for another clean, efficient hold, just like they did last time they were on offense. As we have Phillips faking a few and going for a big flick huck as well. Eva Weatherall reading that well. She's now knocking on the doorstep. Just waiting for everyone to get in position. She goes a sweeping flick across to Patterson, who fumbles it out of hands. Della picking it up very quickly. Get things going. They can smell the blood, Ampersand. Della to Palmer. But Kat Phillips gets in the way. Pretty short turn to Egan Griffiths. Asterisk just resetting now. Kat Phillips again on the disc. Surveying her options downfield. Doesn't like the look of them and goes back to Egan Griffiths. And an around break across. And just a slight overthrow on that far side.
Roberts. She is overthrowing Roberts, giving Ampersand the disc back. No surprise that Lucy Dalla is picking it up.
For sure, and she has a lovely, nice around backhand break to Sally Yu. reads that well. It wasn't an easy catch. And another, working the break side. They do look good when they're using that, but Digdon, that just blades into the grass ahead of Fung.
And catching that trailing edge is so difficult, Avril.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they'll be looking to try and use that break side better because the flow certainly looks awesome when they're down this side. Oh, and a lovely one from Valancourt to Phillips. And it looks like Shears is getting free again. Gabby O'Connor now applying pressure to the mark. Fung's got the matchup on Phillips. Oh, Della on Egan Griffiths. And up to Valancourt. Now Asterisk using the break side to their advantage, but there's a call now.
Not 100% sure what it is. If it's a pick, don't worry. We'll record that one for you. Still pushy backhand up in the air. Phillips just runs onto it nicely.
So Phillips really looking to try and champion these points, urge her players to get going. She's really feeling, you know, that down two breaks. They've got to get some nice holds and then get straight back on for the break.
That's exactly right. Trying to lift that intensity, and they're doing a phenomenal job at lifting that intensity. You can see that they want it, and you can see like Kat Phillips there on that run through D in the front of O'Connor and then getting the goal. It just demonstrates how much they want this.
That's right, with some medalware on the line. Looking to amp it up. I'm sure Asterisk will be looking to try and flip the tables on their recent loss to Ampersand.
That's right, Avril. So Ampersand are still up a break. Little fumble there from Chong. She's got Parks coming in, but she goes the inside to Lee. Hollowbone, Lee. The around to Parks. Ma. She has Buxer providing a cut, but overlooks it. Throws the hammer up instead. Dorothy Lee.
That's a beautiful hammer by Caro Ma. Haven't we seen that a few times over the years?
Caro Ma has been getting really creative with her throws this game. We've seen a couple of hammers so far. Big puts from her. Ampersand looking to her for her experience, her seniority, the guidance on the field, and she brings that. She sees the space, and then she has the skill set to say, how am I going to get the disc there? I can use this throw, as we just saw there with that incredible hammer.
Yeah, Caro Ma. There's wind around? I don't think so. I'll throw what I like. And you see Ellipsis, the defenders peeling off to try to help, but Dorothy Lee just making sure she keeps her composure for an easy catch after that very, very nice hammer from Caro Ma.
It dropped in nicely, straight into her hands. There's been a timeout call. We might pop there for a minute. And we'll come back after a short break.
Mindful moments, learning ancient traditions. Golden hours spent pressing pause on time. Afternoons whiled away absorbing wisdom. And treasure hunts that never disappoint. Whatever brings you to Ballarat, you'll always return remade.
After a timeout, so we've got Ampersand 7, Asterisk 5. I'm sure Ampersand will be looking to try and slot in an opportunity for a break for half, because if they can get up 8-5, that definitely puts the pressure onto Asterisk. As we see Della going up for a pull. We've seen these ones a little bit short on this end. Valancourt picking up, looking to centre, but the defenders getting in the way. Dhaliwal really hard on Prentice. Up to Roberts, moving it fairly well. Ooh, and that's
Fumble from Weatherall.
in and out of the lap, very uncharacteristic.
Ampersand with an opportunity to take half here.
Absolutely. And Weatherall with that fumble. Still a pretty long field though, but Lucy Della said, doesn't matter, I'll get it up to Dhaliwal, no problem. She fakes it big. Goes a lovely slice midfield to Dot Lee. Dot Lee all the way across to Della. Makes it look pretty good. She wanted the big, but Egan Griffiths in the way. And crossfield to Fung, who's been really prevalent this game. She goes for a long shot to Dhaliwal. Dhaliwal with a grab to take half. Ampersand getting the job done. As we called just before the point, we knew that they were wanting the break. They smelt blood and they just went for it.
That was an amazing grab by Dhaliwal. I'd love to see that again on the replay here, as we do. See this one where Lucy Della had to lose a fair bit of ground, but she looks so comfortable taking that grab. Puts the bing up to Fong, who's in an acreage of space. And then Fong recognises and throws her up. She had two defenders there. She did well to box out Prentice, keep front position and bring it down just over the line. Ampersand taking half.
Absolutely, and we saw a couple of different players pop up for Ampersand, getting some stats on the board. As we saw Mandy Fung, she's got 1 goal, 2 assists. Caro Ma with a 2 assists. Jodie Palmer 1 and 1. Dot Lee with 2 goals, as well as Alicia Ng. So a little bit of a spread across the stat board for Ampersand. For Asterisk, they'll be looking to try to get Kat Phillips into the game a little bit more. She's got 1 goal and the 1 assist, but she's involved in every single point. Eva Weatherall with the 1 goal. She'll be looking to stamp her authority. Georgia Egan Griffiths, interestingly, no stats on the board just yet, but I think that will be changing pretty soon.
I'd have to agree, because Georgia Egan Griffiths is getting a every second disc at the moment. So could only assume that she'll be getting up those stats at some stage soon.
So as the players take half, we're just going to have a quick look at a couple more highlights. So interestingly, we've had some contrasting offensive points, some really smooth, efficient, clean offense, and some pretty messy ones in multiple turns. So we'll see how Asterisk can potentially clean up those turns and maybe try and get a couple of breaks back to even the ledger against Ampersand as we go to a break.
All right, welcome back from half. Mike Palmer here from Multi TV. Just want to give a big shout out to Felix Chardlow, who's working for us currently for the EUF, one of the valued partners of Multi TV. We've been working with them for probably 5 or 6 years, getting Ultimate out to the people. This is where you can go and watch the EUF season. There's streaming this weekend, and they'll be streaming all over the season until about October when the EUCF finals kick off, which is some great Ultimate up in Europe. So if you want to tune in, that's the place you can subscribe and get involved. So thanks, Felix, for all your hard work, and big shout out to all the EU Ulti TV crew.
Thanks for that shout out there, Mike. And speaking of subscribing and getting involved, if you want to support the work that Ulti TV does, subscribe to their Patreon so they can keep bringing you this fantastic level of Ultimate that we're seeing here today. Ellipsis Ampersand just took half 8-5 against Asterisk. Avril, what are the stats telling us?
Yeah, so really the young leaders on Ampersand getting up. Sima Dhaliwal, I mean, she just has the 1 goal, but you can see her being involved in every single point. So I expect those stats to head upwards on the stat count. We've got Karo Ma, the 2 assists, Alicia Ng and Dot Lee with 2 goals each. So the young charge from Ampersand, and as we've had in the comments on YouTube, perhaps a changing of the guard?
That's exactly right. We have people questioning if the changing of the guard is happening here at Ellipsis, with the young guns getting it done at the moment, as we see Chong send it to Ma, who's been an absolute axis handler for this Ampersand team. She has Hollowbone in yards of space, but looks her off. Chong trying to find an option. This Asterisk defense has come out of half, absolutely charging. Chong finds on this close sideline right near cameraman Mike. Parks taking a lot of contact from Luau there. She calls the foul. Bit of discussion. It's an accepted foul. The Noah rounds being called from the sideline. Parks bringing the disc in. She's surveying her options. Ung's going down the field. She takes the round backhand to Lee. She's looking for the swing, but it's not there. Parks on the inside backhand. Beautiful put. There's no continuation. She puts it up. Is there anyone there? No. She had Ung and Lee almost available. Buxton was also providing support. It just flattened too quickly.
Yeah, you can see Karo Ma during that point, pointing, like helping her throw identify those free players, leading from the front even if she's not involved in the play. It's a very fast stack here by Asterisk. The disc is coming up on the defensive end zone line. Oh no, they're just trying to work out where the disc is coming in.
Questioning where the disc is coming in from, because it did land, as we just see on the replay here, it landed directly on that sideline, and as we know, the sideline is not in the playing field, which means that it comes back in from where the throw went up. Big mark from Hollowbone, finds Meehan on the under. Big mark from Lee. She's looking at Phillips. Oh, beautiful around flick there. Phillips faking a big backhand. There is no dump available right now. She needs to find something, and Forbes provides it. Up the line there to Brass. Phillips up the line, loses her mark. She's got Luau in a yards of space, but Forbes on the under again. Meehan jinking to try and get free. Gets a little backhand. Forbes going up the line again, but Meehan goes the around. Oh, Hannah Shears can't get underneath it, and Alicia gets the D. Ma picks it up. She has Chong on the under. Heading towards the deep space. Dorothy Lee coming in. She immediately looks to dump her, and Chong comes down. Meehan with the D, and there's a lot of contact, but no call. Up from Kat Phillips. It dies far too quickly, however, and that disc is rolling.
Geez, that was fast and furious. Several blocks within a few throws. You can hear the sideline amping up. The voice is increasing in volume as Karo Ma sweeping backhand cross field. Oh! Great save by Kat Buxter after Kat Phillips gets a bit of a hand lock on that one. Just a safe throw, cross to Chong. On a lovely inside
Karen
flick to Ma. Ma gets on the ground and another big hammer. Oh! Doesn't make it to Dot Lee. Chong in the way. Getting them the defense, avoiding a copy-paste of what happened earlier. And Kat Phillips is walking to the disc. She's barking instructions at her downfield players. Looking like a horror set. So that's 2 turns each for this point already, Oakley. Or 3 turns each,
We
I
did
apologise.
say that the Asterisk need to come out hard because that Ampersand would be wanting to continue to roll away with this, and they have definitely brought that intensity.
As the high disc goes up, but Chong's good enough to read it ahead of Dot Lee. It goes up to Shears. Shears with a lovely floaty hard to Mian. Mian with the score, and aren't they excited after a grindy point?
That was a beautiful put there from Hannah Shears. We saw Kat Phillips try to do something similar earlier, but that one just came down a bit too bleedy. Hannah Shears showing her how you float a disc nicely upwind, Avril.
Yes, and we were talking about the young guns earlier. Shears is stepping up to the plate.
And definitely still getting around the Hannahs. There she is, Hannah Shears. So Asterisk, break one back. 6-8. Sorry, that was a hold. Asterisk held that one, didn't let Ampersand break further away. Great Ds, great Os, great hand blocks. That point had it all.
Absolutely, as you see the wind popping a few up high, giving the defense opportunity to have a sniff. That's really well-balanced throw by Shears, as we see on the replay.
Massive jump from Mia, making sure she was well over that line, leaving nothing to the imagination.
Very impressive. Mian didn't even need to break stride for that one. Ah, those lefty backhands, eh?
It's the thing about the lefties, we know that they're there, but you kind of don't account for them a lot, which is exactly what we see there with that big lefty pull from Yuffie Grimoire. Parks picks it up, but Mara is not available. She goes to this close sideline, almost overthrows Della, but it floats nicely for her. It's a junky look from Asterisk. Oh, she gets a really low one through to you, but she keeps it up. Ma to Parks. Della. Back to Della. Parks. Still playing this junky look. Della and Parks happy to just give go through the center of the field there. Ma. Lee. Through to Ma again. Oh, she looked like she was going to look for something but didn't hit it. Parks to Della, swinging nicely. There's no continuation down this sideline, however. Parks looking for the give-go again. There it is. Goes back to Della. Goes back. No, looks off Parks again. There's no continuation down the field, so the handlers just have to keep passing it back and forth amongst themselves whilst the space opens up for them to try and strike through. Ma goes back to Parks. Back to Della now. Back and forth between them.
Not much movement downfield.
Parks to Della, and there's no movement downfield. They're happy to do this, though, backwards and forwards, which is good because it's working for them. Just need to hope that they stay composed. Della with the disc goes back to Parks. I sound like a bit of a broken record now, Avril.
Yeah.
And Ma on the top sideline. She comes back to Della. It floats up, and she manages to get there comfortably. Almost looked to Ma through the middle.
Yeah, it's a tricky one without the poppers coming in to break the cup. The cup gets set and are very comfortable. Oh, and there we go, the patience. Unfortunately, not to be for Ampersand.
It was a miscommunication. Jess Parks looked like she was wanting to put it to Caroline Ma, but Caroline Ma wasn't actually paying attention at that point in time, so instead went to Della, but Della was looking a little bit away. So Patterson with the disc now finds Egan Griffiths. She pops it up. She's got Alicia Roberts underneath it, but it's too far out in front.
So another point, another 2 turns. Still pretty fast and furious here on the gold medal match. I have to say it was looking very stagnant for Ampersand. Without the poppers coming in to break the cup, at least move the cup, it meant that Ampersand weren't able to gain any yards upfield. And, you know, the handlers, yes, they're very comfortable passing from side to side, but you can't do it forever. And that just little miscommunication was all it took for the turn. But they get another chance at this. Della parks Caro Ma in the backfield, as you'd expect. Like to see some of the poppers as Chong comes in, tries to move the cup for Della and Parks. But again, the cup settling in. Dotley now trying to generate a bit of movement, move the defense a little bit.
Cup seems to be a bit more aggressive than what we saw on that previous point, trying to stop that give-go move. As we see Jess Parks find a way through the cup there. Sally Yu now on this close sideline. They've gained a lot of ground. Jess Parks there. If Sally Yu turned around, she would have hit her through the middle, but she was back to the disc. Dalla now flick to the top side to Ma. Fakes the hammer. She's been liking that hammer. Jess Parks, there's no continuation, however. Caro still directing traffic to the center of the field. Dalla across to Caro in this close sideline. She's surveying options. There's not a lot downfield happening yet again. Disc is with Parks. She comes to Caro in this close sideline. She has Hollowbone through the center. Crossfield back to Dalla. She has some options downfield, but just needs to move the cup and that fence out the way a bit more.
Yeah, the gustiness is definitely increasing, so the handlers aren't really too keen to throw those long ones. So you see this short game. Can Ampersand stay patient, find those holes? Lucy Della goes for a big hammer. And that's a score by Chong. Patience is a virtue and it pays off. Della to Chong. Ampersand, that's another score to take it 9-6.
As you just said there, patience is a virtue, and it really is when you're playing zone offense, especially in an upwind scenario like we just saw. You have to be patient and happy to swing it back and forth between your handers until you find that space through the center of the field.
Yeah, I really liked in that point that Dotley realized that there wasn't a lot of movement in that popping space. So she actually came back, generated some movement, made the cup move a little bit more just to open up some of those small spaces so they could get that through the cup. And interestingly, I think Dotley previous seasons, we may have been seeing her more in the cutting and the deep receiver space, but this game showing that she's actually got a lot of skills behind the disc as well.
And that's what happens as players continue to develop. They move up from those junior stages. I think we all remember the early days of our Frisbee career, Avril, where no one knew how to throw a flick very well. The more you play, the better you become, and you can actually move up into that throwing space away from the receiver space and become more dangerous with the disc. Speaking of dangerous, that bladey pull from Della. Prentice calling Valancourt back under to field it. Valancourt to Phillips. It's another junky look. Making light work of it though, making sure they've got to stay in that sideline. Phillips marked by Tan. Has to concede a bit of space to Prentice, formally with a hand to it. Prentice goes to Valancourt. Through to Meehan. Pops it up. She's got Weatherall deep. Della can do nothing about it. Asterisk answering kind.
Yeah, so a couple of the long shots now paying off for both Ampersand and Asterisk. Asterisk will be pretty relieved, really, to get that hold. Keep in touch, 7-9.
Asterisk making lighter work of the Ampersand zone than Ampersand did of the Asterisk zone. However, that long bomb to Eva Weatherall was put absolutely perfectly. Unfortunately, not much Lucy Della could do about that. As we see here, Lyra Meehan winds up that backhand, has a lot of height on it. Eva Weatherall took front position. Lucy Della could not get in front.
Yeah, as we have a look at the stats for Asterisk, definitely the more experienced senior players stepping up. Meehan with 1 goal and 3 assists now. Kat Phillips still on 1-1, and Weatherall now with 2 goals. We did say that she was looking to get into the game, and there she goes.
Ampersand still up the break. Della, Ma. Seeing almost a replay of last point. This is Asterisk zone again. Handlers moving it amongst themselves. Parks, Mar and Della back in that handler space. Della with the disc now. Surveying her options, looking for Jess Parks on the behind dump. Caro Ma, little give go there up the sideline, gets them a bit of ground up the field. There to Caro Ma again on this close sideline, looking at options. She fakes the hammer, goes across to Lucy Della, opens up the side of the field. Had Kat Buxer for a swing, but looked her off as the fence was coming back in. Ma, she fakes the inside back to Della. She has Jess Parks there, but she looks it off. Big Laura Forbes on the mark, providing height there. Nice big arm span. Ma, nothing down this sideline. Finds Chong through the center, which gets them a nice gainer. Lee, Ma streaming down. Goes for the behind. Parks. Della. Oh, Brass almost with the D. Dorothy Lee on the line. Finds Kat Buxer.
Dot Lee to Kat Buxter, the young guns on Ampersand getting fired up. Some beautiful throws there by Dot Lee. She kept it really nice and low. As that point, the wind just gusted up, making it really difficult for the Ampersand players to get those small dishy passes safely.
That's right, Avril, and you were just saying how good it is to see Dot Lee behind the disc. And as we say that, she throws the assist. Starting to definitely stamp her mark on this game. And Ampersand continuing to rise every time Asterisk rises back.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of questions being asked of Asterisk here. Will Kat Phillips, Georgia Egan-Griffiths and Eva Weatherall step up to the plate? Or will maybe Shears and some of the other young guns get the job done?
Lots of depth on both of these squads. Ampersand doing slightly better at utilising the depth of their roster. That brick was pulled. That pull was a brick, Avril. Oh, I got there in the end, didn't I?
Final game of day 4. I'm feeling you, Oakley.
Final game of day 4. We're mincing our words a bit. Mia now. Oh, she looked like she wanted to unleash that backhand again. Oh, a bit of a travel there from Egan-Griffiths. Going for a little bit of a walk with the disc. Oh, fumble from Egan-Griffiths. Valancourt blades the flick a bit too much.
And that pesky wind just gusts up again at the wrong time for Egan-Griffiths.
Della walking calmly, signalling to her team. O'Connor coming back into the dump space. She's telling them what she wants. There's cuts coming. Dallowell's gone deep. Fung's coming on the under. She's engaging the dump. It's not coming. Jodie Palmer coming for the around to the fill. She puts the big up. She's got Sally Yu underneath it. Can she get there? Sally Yu!
What a grab, Ampersand! That must have been a sore 9 throw by Lucy Della. Just gets enough purchase on the disc, just deep enough to head to that back pocket of the end zone. Sally Yu makes it look great by getting up high for a clap catch to secure that disc.
I mean, if you're going to pick your receiver in a contest like that, you've definitely picked the right one in Sally Yu. As we see here, that flick, it arcs up and around the field. Sally Yu backtracks slightly, but she manages to get up over top of Molly Valancourt. Valancourt just didn't quite have front position because the way the disc arced back into the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lucy Della, one of the young guns on Ampersand's roster and captaining the team as well, along with a few others. She's got some big campaigns under her belt already. The recent Stingrays under 24s last year, and then she'll be lining up for the Firetails as well, coming up in Gold Coast in August and September.
It's no surprise that we see a lot of the Ellipsis team names on the Firetail squad, Avril.
Yeah, they're certainly a dominant force to be reckoned with.
And that's exactly right, as we see them here facing off in this women's final. Ampersand up 11-7 on Asterisk as Prentice has the disc. Egan-Griffiths trying to provide a cut, but there's been a bit of contact on the mark.
Prentice v Fung. Fung seems to have drawn that matchup quite a lot this game, and it's proven to be fairly effective. I mean, Prentice, she's on a roster of stars as it is, but statistically hasn't got too much on the board, just the 1 assist so far.
Accepted foul from Mandy Fung. Throws the Blady flick around to Phillips. She's got Weatherall in the deep space. That's no surprise. Hughes guarding that well. Prentice jinking around. She throws the big flick, trying to emulate the exact same thing. Sally Yu on defense this time. Oh!
Sally Yu getting it done in the end zone.
Ruby Anderson with the goal there. Sorry, no, Ruby Anderson did not get the goal there. She just missed it. Sally Yu boxed out Eva Weatherall enough.
Just that slight overthrow, couldn't replicate what Della had done earlier. And I want to give credit to Mandy Fung, who had fantastic dump defense, which made that stall 8, stall 9 throw go up. Oh, as we see Ampersand just throwing to congested space in the middle of the field. And we now have Asterisk with a short field to work with Prentice picking up.
Prentice looking for Phillips. Phillips gets the disc. Sally Yu, loose mark, trying to prevent the big. She has Meehan in the dump space. She goes for the give go, but doesn't get there. O'Connor closes in. Meehan up the line. Nice switch from Sally Yu and O'Connor. She looks for the around, and Prentice jinks up the line. Palmer peels off, but leaves Anderson open.
And Asterisk really needed that one to settle the nerves. They have to hold tight here before Ampersand run away with it.
That's exactly right. As we see here on the replay, Lyra Meehan to Kat Phillips on this close sideline. Prentice gets Mandy Fung on the back foot, opens a space. Jodie Palmer peeled off, so there's a Prentice to Anderson goal. That's the thing about when you try and do that switchy switch, Avril. If you don't get there, if you peel off to try and get the D, if you don't get it, you've left someone unmarked.
Yeah, I mean, Jodie Palmer wasn't far away, but probably just misjudged that a little bit. Just left that really easy option there.
So Ampersand up 11-8, a couple of breaks there. Asterisks are showing that they're not going to roll over yet. We're going to see one of these big backhand pulls from Lyra Meehan. They've been huge throughout this whole game. Rolls around a bit. Chong's bringing it in. Ma providing an immediate dump option. Oliver in the center of the field. There's Parks. Buxer back to Parks straight away. Lee's providing the option in the center of the field. She looks her off. Chong coming back. Can't quite find her. She's got Ong on this close sideline. Has to get on her guts to keep it alive. Alicia Ong working hard this game. Looking for the around backhand. Finds Karimara in the under. Backhand is up. She's got a few options deep. Oh, Kat Buxer can't quite get underneath it from the pressure from Hannah Shears.
Oh, as the wind gusts up, there's a big one. You can see why Meehan might want to be delaying picking up the disc to avoid it. She beckons the stack to come closer to her. Squeezes one upfield to Eva Weatherall. A big fake. Didn't have any intention of throwing it though. And now goes up. Oh! Kat Phillips manages to pull that down despite a mac from She goes, oh, hang on, there's a call.
There's a call.
All the way back.
Oh, on the throw, there's a foul call.
On the Weatherall throw. Some discussion with Hollowbone.
My assumption would have to be that it's an offensive foul, because if it was that Hollowbone's called the foul, because why would Weatherall call the foul if it was a completed throw? You'd essentially just retract it or utilize play on rule.
You can see here on the replay, Hollowbone looks like...
yes.
Yeah, so it looks like there's some contact. Hollowbone just falls down on her back.
Called the offensive foul on Weatherall there. That's the funny thing about that, Avril, is that if the rest of the field doesn't hear it, they continue to move and play on. And then the disc almost has to be brought the whole way back again.
Yeah, just want to recognise earlier in that point, Alicia, she provided a bailout fill cut or open side cut when the stall count was getting high, had to get on the ground, as you said, to save the disc, and then playing a really tight match defence on Kat Phillips. She's certainly been given a tough assignment today, but she's coming up trumps in that matchup at the moment.
So the disc has been returned to Kat Phillips there. I think there's going to be some adjustment on the field once everyone repositions with this one. Game advisors coming in just to discuss what should probably happen with the stall count. Phillips bringing it in. Meehan with the disc. Phillips on the far sideline. Tight marks, such tight defense. She goes to Grimoire. Oh, Jess Parks almost gets a D on Luau. She pops it out into space. Weatherall is there.
Lots of Weatherall. You can see when they're using the break side of the field, the flow is looking fantastic.
That's exactly right. That's why the break side of the field is so dangerous once you can get it past the mark, past the side of defense. It's almost smooth sailing, Avril.
Yeah, for sure. I think they did pretty well given the change in wind. And as we see a timeout being taken now just to get things settled down and reset. That was a break from Asterisk, so they peg one back. Ampersand are still up. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 breaks versus 2 breaks. So they're still up 3 breaks. Asterisk have their work cut out, but they managed to peg one back.
Ampersand doing really well at maintaining their composure when on offense. It can be hard to do at this point in the game, but they're doing it well.
It's a fair few timeouts now, isn't it, Oakley?
Well, if you don't use them, you lose them, Avril.
Very true, very true. As we might take a short break while Asterisk and Ampersand finish off this timeout, we'll be back shortly.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with Alti TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
So we're back after half. Just whilst we've got the time, just back after timeout. Just whilst we've got the time, I want to do a quick shout out to Charlotte Botham-Clark, who won the Ellipsis talent show last night. Word on the street was that she did a backflip into the worm, Avril.
Backflip into the worm?
That's exactly right. I didn't witness it myself, but apparently it was amazing. And you can see why that wins you talent shows, and maybe that type of talent might win them the gold medal here, Avril. As we have Chong on that far sideline. She finds Stella Yu. She has Hollowbone streaming deep, but she looks through off Dorothy Lee providing the under. Oh, slight underthrow of Dorothy Lee there. The disc ends up underneath her. Phillips moving the disc quickly to Forbes. Hollowbone setting it on the mark. There's Patterson there. No deep options, however. The stack is looking a little bit stagnant. She's gesturing for Phillip to get involved right now. Tries to hit Mean on the around. It was a bit floaty, but she gets there. Pops it up. Oh, Jess Parks gets enough of a fingertip to it.
as we look at the replay. Well-positioned Jess Park. She knew she was out-positioned by Kat Phillips, but just managing to do enough to tip the disc with it fading to the ground quickly before Phillips could get there. As Karima fakes a few big, a little dishy to Della works out okay. Sally provides a continuation but slipped off. And a lovely inside shot. Dot Lee doing really well this game. Looks to continue her success. Fakes off Della up line. Chong provides. Oh! Tipped out of the hands.
That was Chong v Chong there.
System matchups, aren't they tough?
Phillips and Asterisk getting the disc back only meters from the end zone line.
And Asterisk will be wanting to punch this one in to peg back another break. Is this the sign of the Asterisk resurgence?
Oh, Kat Phillips. Laramie doing a lot of jinky work in that dump space. She has a couple of jab steps either side, manages to get free and just up a high release backhand there from Kat Phillips into the space, gets her the goal. So we see here, Phillips and me enough, she did some jinky work.
As the senior leaders for Asterisk step up, it's a bit of a tale of two ends here. Mian lighting up the stat sheet. She's got 2 goals, 3 assists and 2 blocks. Kat Phillips working up on the stat sheet too with 1 goal and 2 assists now. Contrasting to Ampersand's young brigade who have been getting the job done. They're still up a break as we get into the later stages of this game.
Asterisk utilised their timeouts and have really improved their spirits, their intensity and their defence. I think it was Ampersand were up, 11-7, Avril, off the top of my head, and they've done well to bring those breaks back.
Yep, you remembered well, 7-11. That was only a few points ago, and now clawing back to 10-11.
That's exactly right. So the intensity is definitely increased in the Asterisk camp. You could say that they've putting a little bit more punctuation on this game, Avril.
Love it.
Disc just stays in field, rolls in. Buxton went to stop it, but goes, nah, I'm going to let that one roll. As Parks picks it up, Dishy around to Karima. Deep option for Lee, but she centres back to Parks. Downfield is very covered. Not a lot coming through there. Sally Yu trying to provide an option, but retreats. Hits Chong on the under. Parks with some jinky movements. Finds the disc on the top sideline at around halfway. Chong there. Gains some ground for Ampersand. Again going back for Parks, but doesn't see her.
They need to get off the
Goes
sideline.
Dalla, but overlooks, sails out of the field, trying to find Mara in the deep space.
And Asterisk getting their voices up on the sideline. They can sniff another break coming.
Very different to what we thought it was going to be earlier on in the piece, with Ampersand was slowly pulling away. They need to keep the pedal to the metal right now. Try and match the intensity of the Asterisk defense.
Yeah, the Asterisk defense really just pinning them to that far sideline, and that trap proving very effective. They just couldn't get it behind or a swing across to use the width of the field, which resulted in that turn.
So Yuffie Grimoire getting to bring the disc up about 3/4 or quarter into the way of the field because it never came back in. A round backhand to Egan Griffiths. She manages to control that. She is deep but doesn't put it. There's no mark yet. Wants to put the backhand to Grimoire but doesn't. Finds Patterson up the line. She is coming up the line but retreats. Back to Egan Griffiths. Oh, she gets it on the second. Van Berkel. Patterson there on the break side overlooks it. Egan Griffiths there. Grimoire, here she is. Looks the inside but doesn't take it back to Egan Griffiths. Has some options coming. Cuts a bit stagnant. Looks for the dump. Finds Patterson again on this close sideline, meters away from the end zone. Egan Griffiths again, big tussle there with Caroline Ma. I believe a foul's being called. Accepted foul from Karima. Egan Griffiths just steps away from the end zone, calling for Andes. Alejandra Correa Gomez.
Well done on the yards there, Oakley. And that is another break for Asterisk, just what was needed as we're getting to the tail end of this game.
Asterisk breaking it back, 11 apiece. We discussed earlier, Avril, that Asterisk had to definitely lift the intensity on this one, and they seem to have heeded our advice on that. Whether or not they can actually hear us is another thing.
I was going to say, ask and you shall receive. And Egan Griffiths getting a stat. As we said, she's been involved in the plays, but I guess not as dominant as one might expect of her. There she racks up an assist to get on the stat sheet.
So very interestingly, that Egan Griffiths only has the 1 assist on the stats so far. However, she's involved and almost receiving nearly every second disc so far. We are definitely hitting the later stages of this game, just past 85 minutes on the clock. 100 minutes game time until we hit time cap.
Yeah, surely this must be the last time out, Oakley.
I would think so. We need to start tracking timeouts, Avril.
And picks. Timeouts and picks. We'll be sending some feedback to Tom, who developed this beautiful commentary source application for us. Tom Styles is a bit of a ledge in the commentary world, one who I can only aspire to be.
That's exactly right. Commentary source, bringing you all the stats that we've been providing this weekend. Couldn't have been able to do it without this program. Thank you, Tom Styles, for allowing us to give it a test run for you. It's been great. It's been helping us greatly analyze the efficiency of O&D, how many break opportunities, what the conversion rate is. Speaking of Avril, how's it looking?
Yeah, absolutely. So Ampersand have managed to get 5 out of 12 break opportunities. Asterisk 4 out of 10. So that's really the key stat for a lot of Ultimate we've had this weekend, thanks to Ulti TV and Ultimate Australia working together to bring you this broadcast. As Mian looks to pull disc, they're smelling some blood, maybe another break opportunity. Ampersand will have to get things going quickly to stamp out the comeback from Asterisk. Karomar comes across to Lucy Della on the close sideline. Not a lot of movement downfield. Again, relying on the handlers to get the work done. Perhaps a downfield waiting for that handle initiation and then initiating the cutoff, but very stagnant. And Lucy Della has to go up for a speculative hark.
Jess Parks!
Jess Parks getting up big. Middle of the field now. They're working it up. They've just got to stay patient. Dotley marked hard by Kat Phillips. Recognising that Dotley's been a big threat this game. Parks comes back for the dump. 1-2 with Dotley. Yelling from Ampersand to get their teammates to keep working. Sally Yu obliges, gets up high, lasers it inside, flick to Della.
Pick.
And a pick is called.
Kind of dropped the pick count because we hadn't seen a pick occurring in a while, Avril.
We'll get Tom to add that to commentary source for us. So let's see if Ampersand can maintain composure, securing this hold. We'll make sure that they stay up a break with Asterisk chasing their tail. So Lucy Della, centre of the field. Dotley working hard this whole game. Up line to Della. There's Floyd, but I think she toes it in. Although
Ooh, speculative.
some discussion. Kat Phillips the closest.
Game advisor right there on the sideline.
If they want a perspective, looks like the turn will stand. So it looks like a fairly decent disc out of Lee's hand, but the wind just lifting it up and pushing it just ever so slightly across that sideline. As there's a bit of chat. Not sure what that's about. whatever it was. All seems to be sorted out. Phillips bringing up the disc. Della on the mark. Jumps across to Mian. Oh, sweeping one across to Forbes. I think there might be some discussion in out as well. People on the sideline signalling out perhaps her foot landing on the line as she was catching it.
Concedes the turn there. Ma with the disc, Forbes on the mark. She gives it back to Della. Della puts the floaty flick up. Jess Parks!
Della to
Ampersand!
Della to Parks. Parks getting busy this point, getting up high, making sure those catches were secure. She'll be looking to get this game, put the foot on the pedal to get the win and get the gold.
That's exactly right. We discussed just earlier, Avril, that as Asterisks have increased their intensity, Ampersand need to keep that pedal to the metal. And they've done exactly that, responding in kind. Jess Parks did really well at multiple points in that game to get big and pull that disc down. You did see there before just another massive grab from Sally Yu. She's working hard to keep Ampersand in the game. As we see here, Lucy Dalla with the disc, putting up the big arcing flick. It was beautifully put as it sailed over the head of Mian in front of Jess Parks. There was absolutely nothing that the Ellipsis defense could do there. Sorry, the Asterisk defense could do there.
Yeah, for sure. And Ampersand stepping up to the plate. That stopped a run of 3 consecutive breaks from Asterisk. So they've done really well to stymie the flow.
Egan Griffiths now. A junky look from Ampersand again, finds Prentice, back to Egan Griffiths, back to Prentice, go movement through, trying to get the disc moving quickly so they don't get stagnant and let that junk set in. Mian unleashes Dalla! Out in front of Weatherall, smacks it away.
Massive Lucy Della stepping up these last couple of points, making sure that her team are staying ahead of Asterisk. She brings the disc up. Big mark by Weatherall. Jodie Palmer gets up high, secures it with 2 hands. Looks back to Della, reaches out to secure that one. And Simma Dhaliwal, haven't called her name for a while, but she's getting big and she goes for a lovely lefty flick hark.
Clarice Tan!
Dhaliwal to Clarice Tan. Ampersand show that they're good enough. Get the hold and then get the break.
Ampersand have really amped it up, Avril.
Oh, absolutely. And we've seen contributors across the board. Dhaliwal perhaps a little quiet towards the middle of this game after starting on fire, but she reignites to get things going for Ampersand again.
That massive lefty flick from Dhaliwal. Clarice Town with the one-hand grab out in front of Lyra Mee, and nothing she can do about it at all. As we see it here again, nice close-up. Comes down beautifully. Lyra Meehan was hot on her heels. They're excited, Avril.
Absolutely. They can smell the finishing line. 13-11, up a couple of breaks. I mean, it's been the senior leaders stepping up for Asterisk time and time again. I've no doubt that they're going to give one last effort for the tail end of this game. Gold medal at stake here.
Lucy Dalla going point after point after point. She's back on the field again. So disc is with Egan Griffiths. She's surveying the field for options, finds Patterson on the far sideline. It's looking a bit junky again. Swings it around to Prentice, has time to let it float. Phillips down this sideline to Weatherall. She's got options. Egan Griffiths. She's looking. Who's providing the cut? She's providing the cut. She looks off. Loses a bit of ground on the dump to Phillips. Very loose mark from Fung as she gets a bit closer now. Tight dump D there from Dalla. Good transition. Egan Griffiths floats it up too much.
That is massive defense by Mandy Fung. went around, knew that she needed to contain that breakthrough, which she did. Comes in close, does a nice little switch with Della, which forces that high throw from Griffiths, which goes to the ground. Della going for a big hammer to Dhaliwal. Trips over, but makes sure she keeps the disc in hand. Fakes across, just dumps across to Della. Della looking, Dhaliwal working hard for her. Power position, is there a long option? She holsters, goes for a short under to Jodie Palmer. Ampersand just looking to maintain composure. They've done that really well most of this game. Although as I say that, just off the fingers of Gabby O'Connor, commentator's curse strikes again.
So Egan Griffiths picking up the disc now. She centers to Kat Phillips, has a nice amount of float on it. She can run onto it. She looks to put it to Patterson, but doesn't. Went to find Anderson, but went back to Egan Griffiths instead. Back to Phillips again, between themselves, looking for options down the field. Prentice is off. Contact with Fong and Eden Griffiths. Patterson on this close sideline. Big mark from Dhaliwal. There's nothing coming into the open space. She dumps back around to Egan Griffiths, lets the float happen. Great contain from Mandy Fung, but Patterson is there in space to Kat Phillips down the sideline.
Patterson to Phillips. Ampersand had a sniff at that point, but Asterisk stepping up, making sure to deny that.
Ampersand did really well to try and work it upwind there, but unfortunately just had a bobble out of the hand from one of the receivers to O'Connor. There's not really much you can do about that either. As we've said multiple points throughout this game, the wind is a bit blustery and it keeps just bobbling the disc up at the last minute. We saw it in the men's final, some cold drops because the wind just took the disc at the last minute and suddenly a chest catch went to an overhead catch and you just couldn't get there. That beautiful around to Patterson though, and that backhand down the line to Kat Phillips. Asterisk making quick work of that one. We're at 97 minutes here. About to hit our 100-minute time cap. I can imagine that this will be the last point that's played before time cap goes. Question is, Avril, will it be a game to 14 or a game to 15?
Either way, I hope it will be a close one to close out day, our final day here at the Australian Ultimate Championships 2024. Ooh, that just lands in bounds.
Chong finds Hollowbone on the close sideline halfway down the field. She's got towing it in. The defense is setting in. She finds Chong back in the center of the field. She loses some ground to Jess Parks. Swings it to Karimar. Karimar calling for a stack. Kat Buxer back to Ma. She had Lee down the line. Did she get there?
Lee! Layout, score. And there might be a call in or out.
We clearly did not have best perspective on that, Avril, but you know what might have best perspective? Our overhead camera. As we see that one again, here it is to Buxer back to Ma.
Everyone crowding
Lee
around.
Getting on her guts.
Oh,
First point of contact is her foot. It's a goal, as called from the commentary booth.
You can see all the players coming around to have a look at our big screen.
Feel free to come see the screen if you want best perspective.
Here's a replay. Does she get her foot down?
Her
Looks like her toes. Yeah, you can see a little bit of grass just scraping up as her foot just flicks the ground.
Exactly right. Her foot was down as the disc was caught. Commentary booth is calling it as a goal.
That little grass flick just proving the point there. A little accent.
I hope the right outcome is made here.
Dotley deserves another goal. She's been playing amazingly this game.
Exactly right. As we see that again, that foot was clearly planted, so it's being called as a goal. So with that, that point is over. We didn't see time cap go through that, Avril.
Such an efficient point.
It doesn't matter anyway as Ampersand take that one and put 14 on the board. It means it's a game to 15 either way. So just some discussion with the game advisors surrounding what's happening. But as the score goes to 14-12, it means it's a game to 15 either way. Doesn't matter what happens with time cap now. We asked for a close game, Avril.
And then we got what we asked for.
We can see a nice big crowd behind us watching the end of this game. And whilst we're going into the latter points of this game, we're just going to look it up on Ulti Central and see if we can bring you the results from the women's bronze medal match earlier in the day. Asterisk having to get this one and then break back multiple times on defense. We see Prentice go to Patterson down that far sideline. Egan Griffiths coming in for the backhand. She's on that far sideline. Ampersand playing some very tight defense. Prentice on the crossfield flick. Nice one to Anderson. Gainer there. She's looking back for the dump. She finds Patterson on the backwards dump. Prentice on the around. Della is there.
Amazing defense by Ampersand. Generates that turn. Della goes up.
Michaela Dignam runs that one down. There is Fung in the deep space. But Michaela has to just take a few steps back as she drops back to Della. There is no one in the dump space. Palmer coming around. Patterson!
Massive block from Patterson on Fung.
If there's a moment to get on your guts for D's, it is now. Sidelines are getting big, yelling things, getting them motivated. Phillips looking for Egan Griffiths. She finds her. Anderson provides the swing, but she gets looked off. She's got Prentice streaming deep. Phillips gets the through. Prentice gets a big gainer down this sideline. She has Anderson. She looks her off. Massive dump from Della. Fung on the down the line mark. Phillips gets it. There is nothing coming. Prentice on the dump. Looking over top to Egan Griffiths on the scoob. There is nothing happening. She finds it inside. It's overthrown.
Oh, Georgia Egan Griffiths will want that one back. She's going to have to work hard on D. This could well be a game point opportunity for Ampersand. They've had one look already. This is their second opportunity this point.
Della with the disc. Fung is free there. But she's looked off. She's picked up by someone. Connor down the line. She goes a big crossfield to Dignam. Phillips almost with a Callahan. Phillips knocking on the door. She finds Anderson. Asterisk. They get it back. Clawing back ever so slightly.
Jeez, Asterisks are leaving it really late in this game to claw back those breaks. Just in time. Cat Phillips standing up. She was probably centimetres away from her Callahan. Just read that around dump. Catches it just ahead of Dignam. And then really patient, waits for the space to open up. And Anderson makes that one count. Have Asterisks left it too late, Oakley?
Well, it's the hard thing about when you've let your opponent get ahead, break ahead throughout the game, is that once you hit time cap or once you hit 14, whatever the, next to final score is in the game, is that you have to continually play D and break back to get to that universe point. And that can be hard, especially if you have dedicated lines, O and D lines. However, at this point in time, I think Asterisk is playing through a core set here. And I think we see pretty much the same ladies staying out on the field.
Yeah, I have to say Patterson's done well. I feel like she's stepped up quite a bit in the latter stages of this game. Coming back to handle, I did notice Phillips moving upfield on that last point. So trying to get a few of the younger brigade in the backfield just to allow Phillips a little bit more freedom. As Parks just overthrows Lee. This might be the opportunity. Asterisk, they're 13-14. If they manage to convert this break, it'll be 14 all and double game point.
That's right, Avril, and you know what? We couldn't have asked for anything better. We asked Asterisk to lift, and they lifted. Here is their opportunity to get the final breakback of the game to draw even as Phillips centers to Prentice. She fakes the inside, but it's a massive mark there from Parks, trying to get that one back. Phillips, hard mark from Sally Yu. Looking for Anderson on the around, doesn't see her. Mean is sitting top of stack, but she's not there. She pops it up on a high stall count. Patterson cannot get underneath it.
Kudos there to Sally Yu, Jess Parks playing amazing dump defense, not letting an easy one come out. Gives Ampersand another game point opportunity. Caro Ma will have to bring it up. She'll have to hoik it all the way, and hoik it she does. Lee under the disc, but Phillips using her body to get in front.
And the experience of Phillips there coming through, as you saw, she almost shepherded Lee out the way. And what that meant, because if Lee touched the disc, it would have had to be brought in from that sideline point. However, because she did not let Lee touch the disc, it's now coming back in from where the throw was released from Caro Ma, which makes for a very, very short end zone and field for Asterisk to score. So we see Kat Phillips walking it that long way back up. Sally Yu settling in on the mark. She has Ruby Anderson coming through immediately. Everyone flooding this close sideline. There has been a call, however.
Yeah, as you can see, Yu marking Kat Phillips, Parks on Prentice marking that dump. Let's see if they can get that dump defense working again.
So here we see Phillips again. Anderson going for the exact same thing. She dumps it to Prentice. Can she hit the brakes like this? She goes the inside flick to Patterson. Asterisk do it.
And that is 14 all. We've gone all the way. Another universe point on this stream. Ulti TV in combination with Ultimate Australia, bringing it back. Bring another universe game from this tournament to your screens. Let's get around them. Give us a comment, like and subscribe. Get behind us on Patreon so we can continue bringing awesome games like this.
So as we see here, some of the comments here, they're asking for a double game point, and we've answered some comments here, so thanks for the great commentary. We appreciate it. We like bringing you this. It's an exciting game, as we exactly called from the start.
So let's have a look at our universe point lines. Kat Phillips, Eva Weatherall, Mian. We've got Patterson, Anderson, Law, Egan Griffiths, and for Ampersand, Chong, Lee, Parks, Ma, Yu, Della, and Zoe O'Connor. Oh, that's a nice pull. Pins Ampersand behind that, just in their end zone. Pretty stagnant stack. Lucy Della across to Lee. Across to Lucy Della. A nice gainer to Sally Yu. As the defense catch up, she centers back to Della. O'Connor waving her arms. The hammer's coming. Oh! O'Connor's caught the disc, but she's caught it out of bounds.
Kat Phillips tipped it enough. Asterisk broke back. They've got their chance now. Need to treasure this disc. Kat Phillips looking for the around. She can't find it. She puts it up. She's got Eva Weatherall underneath. Sally Yu's there. Lyra Meehan! Asterisk have done it!
On universe point, Asterisk get the win after being behind all game. They rally the troops. The senior players step up to the plate. Foot on the gas, as you called, Oakley. And you can see how much it means to these players. Ampersand, they had a fantastic run. They started the game hot, They work so hard for each other. And it comes down to Univest point.
My heart breaks for Ampersand. They did such hard work to pull ahead there. However, Asterisk, they kept that intensity firing on defense. We discussed how hard it can be to keep coming back on defense when you were down in that deficit, but they did so extremely well on that. The Asterisk defense, especially on that last point, just too hard, and that forcing Lucy Della to throw that hammer, which in this wind, with someone like Kat Phillips coming in and closing on the defense, picks it off.
Yeah, Kat Phillips really baited that throw, but she timed the run perfectly, just managed to get one of those gloved mitts up to the disc and deflect it out of play. So Gabby O'Connor, even though she read that deflection, was just outside the line there.
As we can see here, some devastated Ampersand ladies.
And as we see the stats from the game, Ampersand managing to get 16 break chances, Asterisk 14, but they were more efficient. Clean holds, Ampersand had 5, Asterisk just the 3, but they managed to get the disc back when they did turn it. So yeah, all in all, a close game to call. And as we have results from the bronze medal match in the women's division, Manly Mavericks getting up on Rogue 15-6. So we will have gold for Ellipsis Asterisk, Ampersand coming in second place with the silver, and Manly Mavericks in bronze medal position.
And with that, we wrap up what has been the 2024 national season. It's been a long weekend, big bids, big plays, big O's. Thank you to the AFDA and UltiTV bringing you this broadcast. We love your work. Thanks for all the comments online. I'm Oakley Mullen.
And I'm Avril Tam signing off.
Alti.tv. Alti.tv.